Craig 1287 here. I'm bringing you yet another VR video, this time looking at a game called Spellfighter VR. And I say game very loosely. This is very much more, I've said a lot of things are kind of tech demo-y on the Vive side of things, just to show different ways of movement and combat and whatnot. This game very much is that. It is just a free thing you download on Steam. Now I left this part, that part there at the beginning in just because that cool bump mapping or displacement mapping I think is the effect. It just looked cool. Rewind it if you want to. But so what this game is when I uploaded my Vanishing Realms video, I had a whole lot of people suggesting that, you know, hey Craig, check out Spellfighter VR, since one of your complaints was with the teleportation form of locomotion. This Spellfighter game lets you, if you want to use the teleportation you can, but it also lets you use the touchpad as a sort of analog stick almost. And so I've tried it out, and you saw there I moved around. I'm not using teleportation. Now let me say, before I keep going on and whatnot, this game is this tech demo is very rough around the edges. I really do not like the method of picking things up. You see here, I'm struggling. I edited a lot of stuff out of me just struggling where you grab these spears. This is cool that you have spears and they're actually not assisted in their throwing at all. You've really got to throw it hard, fast, and let it go at the right time for it to come off of your hand. Like that, had I been facing my TV, I swung that thing pretty wide. I might have ended up hitting my TV. Now this bow is actually pretty assisted in the way at which it works. It actually changes its association where when you grab it, it puts it in your hand like a bow normally would be. Whereas these spears, when you pick them up, like you guys saw, I picked it up at just the tip. And here, rewind this part if you want to. You can just see the defeat in my actions, my movement, like when I dropped that bow. Because if you haven't noticed, I dropped a sword, I dropped a whole lot of things, I dropped the bow. You can't really pick things up. I don't know if this is just because within the Steam VR settings, I have my floor. I haven't run into this problem in any other game, but in the game the ground was lower than what I could actually physically reach down in my room, and so if I dropped an object to pick it up, I couldn't pick the object up. There's some things that I worry. If the object was large enough, like these pistols, which their reload mechanism really confused me. Maybe you just can't reload them, which is a bummer if that's the case. And it's really weird and conflicting when you see me pick up that one musket kind of rifle, flintlock rifle. That thing has infinite reloads. It just reloads over time. Like I said, this game is very rough around the edges, but the locomotion, and then this right here is another aspect that I was really interested about, and that was the spell system in it. And I go to cast a fireball. There's multiple ways in which you can cast spells. You can use your voice, you can use that weird pentagram thing that I had, and then there's the spell book where it's 2 a.m. There you go, you saw it. I picked the fireball, and then once you pick it off of the spell book, you actually have to draw in the case of the fireball, it's you draw a triangle, and that's what casts the fireball in the air, and I actually have to grab it out of the air, and then I throw it. And that's like that. That was really cool. I think that you know, in the next. Well, not the next, but eventually when a new Elder Scrolls game comes out and has some official VR support from the developers, then that would be really cool if that's how you cast things, is by actually drawing the shape for summoning the spell. See here, I don't actually reload this thing. It just well, you can't see it now, but it just kind of automatically pulled the hammer back. And you see here, it's pulling it. I'm not doing anything. So, but the pistols, the double-barrel pistols, they didn't do this. Oh, and I do also apologize for the mouse pointer being in the middle of the screen. Similarly to the issues that I had with the Brookhaven experiment thing, every window, like application program window that's open on my desktop, is treated differently. This one was really fidgety, and I couldn't actually use my mouse. I couldn't move my mouse when the program was selected, so I couldn't actually click on the maximize. So I ended up doing holding Alt Enter to do maximize, but it still kept the mouse on the right here. That was really cool. Like, I really got a sense of playing like something like Skyrim in this part, like actually walking around in these. It just really reminded me of Skyrim, the visuals of climbing the mountain in Skyrim with the snow all scattered about and whatnot. Well, that moment there was just really cool, just the visual effect of having it. And I've not really kept a single train of thought. I don't think I've completed a single train of thought in this video. But everything's just, everything's just happening so fast. I keep going on to all these different things that I want to discuss about this game, but I didn't actually get finished with this game or demo or whatever it is. I tried, but at one point the system of having to pick these things up, and this was just funny that I pick up an entire skeleton, you have to grip the handle grips on the controller to pick things up and to hold these things. Weapons, you have to hold it to keep them held. Swords, anything. And so you will drop them often because those hand grips, they're nice to have, but they're not the most practical thing to keep held down. I also feel like I'm going to end up squeezing the controller to death by squeezing the life out of it by having to squeeze and hold that grip. And here you see me kind of dicking around. It just feels weird not having. A lot of games you have like motion bob, and I just felt like I needed to do that movement with the sword. I was doing it with both hands, but it kept slowing me down every time I lifted the left controller, which is the one that you use to actually do the trackpad for the motion in game. And yeah, I don't know, this game is just really, really rough around the edges of the combat. It's cool with the musket thing, but this red effect, like, what is that? I mean, I know what it is. It's damage, but like, I can't heal. Well, you'll see that here in a bit. I try to heal. I try to drink for what I thought was a potion. Right here, but there's nothing inside. I don't know, maybe this is not how you use it. And you can't switch hands. Like, I can't just grab something out of a hand that's currently holding something. So to switch hands, I have to, like, hold it up, drop it, and then time my catching of it. Again, very rough around the edges. But this blood effect, like, I don't heal over time, and it's only on one part of my screen, like the direction that I was facing when I actually got hurt. So you'll see here I kind of look off to the left, and it's kind of clear. There's still some blood effects, but it's not the glowing bright red. I don't know. So yeah, here I get to the top of the mountain where I think I'm about to approach that cool red explosion that happened in the sky, and some new enemies show up, which didn't really bother me that much. I actually like fighting these enemies. The animations of their attacks are very fast. It's very hard to deal with, so I just found myself wanting to use this flintlock rifle more often than not, especially against the skeletons. And so I try to clear off everybody until I get down to, I don't know what the enemy type is. It's like a furry humanoid thing. So I kill the skeleton. I would go to use my sword to kill this guy because I want to keep testing the melee combat, and it totally fails there, as you see. I swiped. It looked like he should have been in my range, and nothing happened, and I couldn't block his attack, and he just hit me for the final killing blow. And then just resets you at the very beginning. So I didn't feel like going through all that again. Actually, I did. I just didn't record it. I didn't feel like troubling you guys having to see it. I ended up dropping my sword. Couldn't pick it up again because the floor is beyond my floor. And I tried doing like fist punching, and that apparently didn't do anything to the enemies, and so I ended up getting killed again, even earlier before ever finding that corpse on the ground. So this game, very rough around the edges, but having said that, the locomotion did work. I kind of lost my balance a couple times. It was no different than Windlands, which I still need to get a video up of that. But that's just because my movement was not that of my own walking around the room. But despite that, losing my balance and whatnot, I think if they slowed it down, you know, you almost have like instant momentum, and that's what really throws you off and makes you lose your balance. Once you get going, you're perfectly fine. They just need to slow the acceleration into getting into that full speed. That would really help to cut down on the amount of balance lossage. But yeah, the locomotion, it works. I think, I mean, once Oculus Touch comes out, we'll have actual analog sticks to use for movement, but for Vive games, I think it actually works. We don't need to use teleportation, so it'd be nice to have an option of both for people who prefer to not use teleportation. But also the magic casting system, again, it was really cool, proof of concept. It works, using your hand to like draw a symbol. I hope that our fantasy RPGs in the future of VR end up using that, but everything else in this game was very rough around the edges, and I don't think I'll be spending too much more time in this Spellfighter VR. But it was free, can't complain. I got my money's worth, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed this look at Spellfighter VR. Hope you guys enjoyed all of it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.